Hey, the Sonic movie is coming out February 14th. Maybe we should, make a video on it. Alright, but it'll be hard, won't it? Sure, it's a video game, but it has cutscenes and stuff. We can make a character arc out of it. Alright, if you say so.
3 weeks later.
This is rough. You're right, let's just skip this one and work on that Mewtwo video with Joe Cat that we promised way back in December. Now you're talking.
3 weeks later.
Shit, I just got a video idea. Howdy friendos, my name is Stuart and welcome to the part of the channel where we look at characters from pop culture and determine what alignment they are. Today we'll be looking at Sega's mascot and constantly depreciating intellectual property, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, as you saw in that opening bit, this one's gonna be a little rough to handle. And not just because I'm literally making this video within a period of 2 days. I knew getting into this series was going to be slightly tricky, but I had no idea the rabbit hole I was descending into. Sonic, as many people know, has had a rough time over the years. He didn't age well as his counterpart Mario, and it really shows. It doesn't help that Sega's been playing fast and loose with his character over the years, licensing him out to pretty much any developer and creative team with a half-baked chili dog of an idea. Personally, I never had a super strong connection to Sonic growing up, but I did have some affection for the Sonic Sat AM cartoon, the Game Boy Advance games, and that one game that was attached to a fantasy pet simulator. Otherwise, I've not kept up with the IP, although if you really want to know about the craziness of the various Sonic multiverses, here's a list of all the continuities I could personally find. Most people know about the classic and modern Sonic. Those are pretty easy. You might be saying that those are the same characters since they were in a game about time travel, but you'd be wrong. Sonic Forces confirmed that these are 2 different Sonics. There was also the storybook games, Sonic and the Black Knight and Sonic and the Secret Rings, which were spin-off games taking place in the world of King Arthur. The Game Boy Advance games also had their own continuity, and you could tell because Blaze the Cat had a completely different backstory from what she had in Sonic 06, and you have no idea how much it pains me that I know this from memory. But those are just some of the video game Sonics. We're not even counting the countless cartoons, comics, manga, novels, yes, actual novels, children's books, Waldo books, cameos, crossovers, OVAs, Christmas specials, and the Archie comics There Was a Crisis on Infinite Earths event. But for the sake of simplicity, and because I have been getting a lot of requests to do more video game characters, I'm experimenting this month by dipping my toes into video games. Do forgive me if you are upset with the canon that I'm going to pick, but I need to narrow this down into something watchable. I am going to be focusing specifically on the Sonics that we see in the 2 Sonic Adventure games. But Stuart, if you were going to focus on any Sonic, why that one? Surely there are more Sonics available in Classic, plus there are way more 3D Sonic games you can focus on. Well, I'm glad you asked, disembodied meta commentary voice that seems to occupy every YouTube video ever. By the way, the subscribe button is right down there if you want to keep adding snarky comments. You see, the reason I chose this Sonic in particular is pretty easy. I haven't played the other games. Okay, that's not entirely true. I've played a few, but that's a big contributing factor. Really, there are a few options that would be available to me, but due to the limitations of the format of these videos, it's really the only option that I have. Classic Sonic doesn't really make any moral decisions. If anything, he's neutral good with chaotic tendencies, but that's mostly his 90s cheese coming through. This is a limitation due to the hardware at the time. Classic games really couldn't afford to put an expansive story on the cartridge. The Sonic Advance series pretty much has the same problem. There's a very thin narrative, sure, but it's basically classic Sonic with some more playable characters, and literally any of them could fill the role of protagonist. Well, what about the storybook Sonic? Those clearly have a narrative. Well, that mostly comes down to me having almost no interest in them, and plus, the Sonic in these games don't really represent the core of Sonic's character. It's like judging the alignment of Superman based on the Injustice series. Even if it's pretty good, you're not getting the true Superman, you know? And lastly, if I'm picking 3D Sonic games with narratives, why don't I pick literally any of the others out there? Well, it's simple. There's no concrete timelines. Sonic 06 seems like a reboot, and many of the other 3D Sonic games derive elements off of every other game, adding to the excess mess that the canon has become. Which means I'm left with the only 2 Sonic games that are absolutely connected to each other, Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. Despite some minor branching events in the Dark Side story from Sonic Adventure 2, everything plays out in a pretty solid narrative. Now, Sonic Heroes is technically a sequel to Sonic Adventure 2, and while I could use it, things get messy when you have all these branching possible futures and characters getting slammed into the mix. Now, what about the canonicity of Shadow the... Holy shit, how do I keep forgetting about this? I'd say it's the worst thing to happen to Sonic, but we all know that's not true. And no, the game just can't be used in this sort of environment. Shadow the Hedgehog has like 10 different endings, and while I kinda admire that, it just wouldn't work. One day I might come back and examine Shadow from his game,
But it is not this day!
but anyway, let's look at these games real fast. The Sonic Adventure series is a set of games where our heroes live on Earth, with normal-ass humans and everything. You play as a slew of different characters in each game. In Sonic Adventure 1, you play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy Rose, Big the Cat, and E102 Gamma. You start the game as Sonic, playing through a pseudo-open-world campaign where you need to save the world from Dr. Robotnik. Pretty standard affair. The good old Eggman is trying to release a creature called Chaos to do what else? Take over the world.
Of course!
I've always wanted to use that meme. As you play through the campaign with each character, you unlock their perspectives and see things from a slightly different point of view, building and expanding the story. Really, we won't need to analyze anything special here because nothing drastic changes throughout each playthrough. Plus, since this video is focused on Sonic's alignment, it would make much more sense to focus on him. Once you complete all the individual character campaigns, you fight the final boss and fully complete the game. Sonic Adventure 2 is similar in the sense that you play through several different characters split into two campaigns, Hero and Dark. On the hero side, you play as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, while on the Dark campaign, you play as Eggman, Rouge the Bat, and... Same as last time, play through all the possible campaigns, and you unlock the final chapter, gaining access to a small series of levels, and then the final boss. Bing bang boom. Again, we'll be focusing on Sonic's perspective and point of view throughout all this, so any alterations from other playthroughs are just going to be ignored. Also, because I pulled a Stuart and did a thing where I made a video in 2 days, I obviously did not have time to gather all of the gameplay footage. I took this footage from a YouTube channel called Gamer's Little Playground, which releases complete cutscenes of famous games. Thank you to them for this footage. And with that, let's finally determine Sonic's starting alignment. And I really don't need to justify or explain myself here, do I? Sonic marches to the beat of his own drum. He's arrogant and self-absorbed and does things for his own enjoyment. All the bearings of a chaotic character. But he's also a good guy. We see from Tails' flashback that Sonic found or raised him or something, and he hops into action right away to save anyone in trouble. Sonic is chaotic good, pure and simple. But since these two games are part of a complete series, let's see if that changes. All right, let's go.
He's the fastest thing alive!
Sonic attacks and fights Chaos because this will be fun. I mean, you could imply that he attacked him because the police did, but I'm gonna say it's chaotic neutral.
Down! You're gonna crash! Ah!
Immediately going out to rescue Tails. Neutral good.
Look, it's a giant talking egg.
Sonic insults Eggman for, at the moment, no real reason yet. Chaotic neutral. Sonic defends himself and Tails from Dr. Robotnik. Neutral.
Without more emeralds, the monster can't transform. So, it's up to us to get the emeralds before Eggman does, huh?
Sonic and Tails decide to collect the emeralds so Eggman and Chaos can't get them and destroy the city. Neutral good.
No time for games, Sonic. Give me the emeralds you have, right now.
What? Let's just see you take him. Huh.
Sonic, just talk to Knuckles. Otherwise, just fighting him like you are is chaotic neutral.
Oh no.
That's where the meme came from?
Way to go, knucklehead!
Sonic just kind of insults Knuckles instead of stopping Eggman. Chaotic neutral.
Tails?
If your first thought when falling out of a plane is my best buddy okay, I'm gonna label that as neutral good.
Look here! It says, cute couples get in free! Let's go!
Sonic chases after Amy, trying to protect her and the birdie from the Eggman bot. Neutral good.
Hey, Sonic!
Tails, I'm glad you're okay.
Sonic chases the egg carrier to protect Amy. Neutral good.
Oh, wow! It's changed shape! Did you see that?
That has better animation appeal than 90% of the rest of the game.
Get rid of these pests. Show them what you've got.
Sonic defends his friends against Gamma. Neutral good.
This robot is my friend! He helped me! Don't hurt him!
Okay, whatever you say.
Trusting Amy and letting Gamma live despite the fact that he was trying to kill them a bit ago. Chaotic good.
Hurry, Tails! Take Amy and get out of here.
Telling Tails to save Amy while you take on the boss by yourself? Pretty neutral good.
I must save Froggy.
If he's your friend, I'll help you.
Saving Froggy for big is neutral good.
Till we meet again, Sonic.
Stop! Come back here.
Sonic just jumped off of a flying helicarrier to chase Robotnik, who's in another flying vehicle. I mean, this is just chaotic stupid.
That light. I think it's trying to show me something.
So throughout the game, this light gives you hints on where to go, and it's actually a pretty clever moment of combining metagame hints with your narrative. Since Sonic has been listening to this light throughout the game and then following it into the ruins, I'm going to say lawful neutral, but if you said neutral, I don't think I would argue with you.
What was that all about? Eggman!
Normally I wouldn't give this an alignment, however Sonic abandons his interest to learn more about the past in order to pursue Eggman. Neutral good. After Eggman is defeated, he and Tails run off into the sunset? What? Neutral.
Knuckles! And Eggman! What happened here?
He stole my Chaos Emeralds. And Chaos is still alive.
What?
Sonic jumps into action and volunteers to help right away. Neutral good.
Bah! I don't listen to the words of a child. Ready, men? Charge!
No! The Chow!
He must be sealed in the Master Emerald now.
How can that help? It won't change how he feels inside, will it? His heart will still remain in turmoil, and his anger just won't vanish.
Sonic realizes that sealing away Chaos won't solve anything long term. This will just happen again. Sonic insists to fix the problem in Chaos's heart. Pretty big goddamn hero moment. Naturally, the power of friendship means taking all of your positive energy and slamming it into the bad guy to... what was that, Tails?
Super Sonic must have neutralized it, so it's nice again.
Lawful good.
All's well that ends well, right? Sonic?
Sonic runs off to another adventure. Chaotic neutral.
Didn't copy that. Over. Gone. He's taken out everyone aboard it. What's wrong? What in the world? Over.
Sonic doesn't care about your prison sentence. Also, I don't think anyone would argue with me. City Escape is a nat 20. Chaotic neutral. Sonic doesn't fight his way out of this one. Then again, he's pretty well surrounded. I'm gonna pick neutral.
I thought I had you this time.
Amy breaks Sonic out of prison and he just kind of accepts it, I guess. Chaotic neutral.
I found you, Faker.
Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. You're comparing yourself to me? Ha! You're not even good enough to be
I'll
my
make you eat those words.
Sonic fights Shadow for revenge? Kinda? Chaotic neutral.
Shadow, what are you doing? Hurry and get back here right now before the island blows up with you on it!
Blows up?
Sonic finds Amy and Tails and escapes the exploding island. Neutral good.
I'll take care of the police while you try and find a way out of here.
Sonic leads the police on a wild hedgehog chase so that Tails can track down Eggman. Chaotic good.
What the heck's going on here?
Okay, let's break down what just happened. Sonic and Tails broke into the president's limo, hijacked their transmission, probably wrecking their tech, and completely obliterated negotiations with Eggman, so they could find out where Eggman was at. Chaotic good.
Right?
Land the
Knock
shuttle
it
and
off,
let me
Knuckles.
out.
We're gonna crash this thing if you keep that up. Oh no! Don't touch that lever!
Fighting with Knuckles for control of the ship, I think? Chaotic neutral.
Hand over the Chaos Emerald, slowly, and then we'll talk about your girlfriend.
Sonic gives up the fake Chaos Emerald to save Amy and Tails. Chaotic good.
Are you okay?
I'm worried about Tails and Amy.
Sonic, despite being winded and worried, tells Knuckles to go help Tails and Amy. Neutral good.
You never cease to surprise me, Blue Hedgehog. I thought that capsule you were in exploded in space.
You know, what can I say? I die hard. You actually saved me, you know.
It was a Chaos Emerald, wasn't it? But there's no way you could have activated the Chaos Control using an emerald that's fake. So, there's more to you than just looking like me. What are you, anyway?
What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
I see, but you know, I can't let you live. Your adventuring days are coming to an end.
No worries. Just leave it to me. I'm the world's fastest hedgehog.
Sonic teams up with Eggman in order to save the world. Lawful good. Teaming up with Shadow and going super to save the world. Lawful good.
Shadow, continuous use of your super power will cause you to disappear. Get back to the colony.
A lot of people complain that Shadow shouldn't have died at the end of Sonic Adventure 2, but that line of dialogue just explained that Shadow was running out of rings in super form. Sonic then tells Shadow to get back to the colony to save himself. Chaotic good.
He was what he was. A brave and heroic hedgehog who gave his life to save this planet.
Sonic makes sure that the party remembers that Shadow's last moments were that of a hero.
Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
It's popular nowadays for reviewers to take a dump on these games. And yeah, I've seen Pro Jared's video, everyone has. The Sonic Adventure games weren't really as good as we remember. But by the Emeralds were there some cool moments. Sonic Adventure 1 had tons of trouble. I never played that one growing up, but just looking at the Jake animation, it really didn't age well. However, the progressive story being filled in from each character's perspective is admittedly really clever, and the level designs were pretty tight. Sonic Adventure 2 was a much more solid game, at least from Sonic and Shadow's levels, a couple Knuckle levels, and one Eggman level. Oh, hang on a second. Live and learn! Hanging on the edge of tomorrow! And of course, the music. Hot dang if Sonic didn't have one of the most bitchin' soundtracks. This, along with the genuinely tense and exciting moments listed above, you've got a real solid classic. Sonic, though, doesn't really progress much, or at least he doesn't have a character arc that we've come to expect in this series. In fact, if you look at every other character, they all go through dramatic arcs. Tail gets over his fear in Adventure 1 and then becomes his own man in Adventure 2. Knuckles learns to get over his rivalry with Sonic and then finds, friendship with Rouge. Rouge changes from a spy to an independent agent more focused on people than treasure hunting. Hell, even Eggman seems to reflect on what he wants as a villain by the end. Sure, Sonic starts a chaotic good, and he ends up pretty much where we expected him. However, a lack of change does not a bad character make. Sonic pretty much is the same character at the start of the games as he is at the end. Heck, even if he switched alignments during these campaigns, can you really see him acting any other way? This type of character arc is called the flat character arc, and if you want to see an excellent video on that, I suggest checking out Totally Not Mark's video on Goku, the misunderstood character. And if you're still on the Sonic nostalgia kick like I am, please check out a small YouTube channel called JebTube, who does excellent long-form video essays on the history of the Sonic games. I discovered him while making this video, and he is seriously underrated and undersubscribed. This long outro probably killed my retention rate, but assuming this video came out on February 14th, it's actually my wife and I's 9th wedding anniversary. We've been together since middle school, and we will be celebrating today by seeing the live-action Sonic movie, then streaming sometime over the weekend on our Twitch channel over on twitch.tv/TheLoadingCrew, where we will probably geek out over what we thought of the movie, maybe do some Q&A, and probably play some games. Doing this video made me really want to play Sonic again. We might just do that. Subscribe, and we'll see you guys there.